We want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for sponsoring the Athletic Director Toolbox segment of the podcast. Athletic surveys are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. At my schools, we use surveys for just about everything for teachers, for coaches, for kids, and for parents. And the information that came back was almost always positive. But surveys also allow that squeaky wheel parent to vent a little bit. And many times they'd share a small issue that you could address and keep it from turning into a big issue because you didn't know about it because you hadn't done a survey. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the folks at Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. Well, it's that time of the podcast. We've been visiting with Zee Butler, the founder and CEO of The Ball Code, also a multi-published author. Certainly knows her way around the world of athletics. But Zee, right now, I'm going to challenge you to send out a brand new athletic director on their very first job, but I'm only going to let you put three things in their toolbox. What three items are going to go in Zee Butler's athletic director toolbox?
Yes. Number one, don't be so hard on yourself. The congratulations come when you get a new position, but people don't really know what it's like to have the pressure behind that promotion. So try not to be so hard on yourself. Give yourself a learning curve. Two, be passionate about really knowing your staff. Um, like I mentioned before, the number one reason why people are wanting to leave or looking for other places is because of their superior or because of their manager, supervisor, whomever, director. So get a chance to really know your staff and let that be something that is that just naturally flows from you. Um, and then the third thing is create a motivating environment. I know when I became a supervisor for the very first time, I went back to my trainer and I was just like, oh, they're not getting along. How do you motivate your team? And one of the things that she told me was, and I use it to this day, one of the things that she told me was, hey, you cannot motivate people, but you can create a motivating environment. And I've used that and it's helped me along the way, even to today in my current leadership role. So those are my three things. Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself a learning curve. Um, be passionate about the people who you are leading. Be very honest about it. And the third thing is make sure you create a motivating environment um, to kind of help reduce some of those worker conflicts, I guess you can say.
Oh, no, absolutely. I was writing, you probably saw me scribbling down those notes. And I love the first one. I think people in our profession and in many professions, they're driven, they have that passion. But again, sometimes, you beat yourself up about, something. And, yeah, you need to reflect, but hey, move on, learn from it and
Yeah.
become better the next time. Very good stuff.
And you're right, Jake. It's just learning. I think the best thing to do is learn from your mistakes. That's kind of uh something helped me along the way. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like, oh, let me try this. Let me be a daring leader right now. If it don't work, hey, we can go back to the drawing board and try something else.
I love that. A daring leader. Boy, that could be the title of your next book.
Hey, you never know,
Yeah.
Jake.
Well, Z, again, this has just been so very cool. One more time, if one of our listeners wants to reach out, find out more, how can they get a hold of you?
Yes. You can visit my website, www.theballcode.com. There you'll see my social media tags. You can actually contact me through that website. I have an email address. It is ZB, as in Zedrayn Butler, at theballcode.com. And again, you go to their website. You can get a hold of my book. I also have a free SWOT analysis for the mental state of sports. So check it out. Please help your athletes. Do it on your coaches. I don't know. Maybe that'll work too.
No, great advice. Zee Butler, the ball coach, thanks so much for being on the podcast and all the best moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Jake, and all of the best to you and your podcast and the things that you do.
Oh, we appreciate that. For listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of each interview get uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Come back next time for another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. Everybody take care. Thanks again for listening. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to our partners, We Coach, and the global community of women in high school sports. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.